Hey everybody, this is Scott Morris. I am president at Passport Game Studios, and we are here today to play a game of Skyward, our new release that's coming up this summer from Rule and Make, who is an Australian publisher. I am joined here by my cohorts in digital crime, Chaz and Ryan. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself real quick. Chaz?
Whoa.
I'm Chaz Marler, and I'm the customer support and social media manager here at PGS, and I'm really excited to sit down and play this. This will be my first game of Skyward.
And I am Ryan Skinner, the marketing manager here at PGS, and I'm also excited to play it. It will also be my first time, though I have to take a little bit of umbrage with Scott calling us criminals. I feel like that is not fair.
Well, I said we all were. I didn't just say you two were, right?
Sure,
I included myself in that disparity, I guess. So
Yeah.
Well, so to give everybody a little bit of a background on Skyward. So first off, Skyward is going to be releasing at Gen Con this year, Gen Con 50 in Indianapolis. And it's going to be street dated about 2 weeks after that on September 1st. So if you're going to Gen Con, you're going to be able to pick up a copy in our booth. If you're not going to Gen Con, it will be in your friendly local game store shortly right thereafter. The concept and the idea and the story behind Skyward is that we are in a world where there are these 4 factions. And these factions have been kind of fighting and pulling and vying for, different glory and infamy throughout the land. And they've decided to put their differences aside, and they're coming together to build the first floating city, which is Skyward. We are each going to be wardens or architects, and throughout the game we're going to be playing cards, which is called launching them into the sky. Some of them are going to be buildings, which are going to help build the city of Skyward. Some of them are going to be airships, which are going to be little extra things that we add to our airspace, which is our playmat area in front of each of us. And some of them are going to be pigeons, because pigeons are the rodents of the sky. No offense to any pigeon fans, but they are kind of crazy. If you come from New York, you know what I'm talking about. The game uses a very unique mechanic of I split, you choose. If you zoom in here, which we will, onto the main mat here with the deck of cards, you'll see at the bottom there are some icons that show 2 players equals 8 cards, 3 equals 12, and 4 equals 16. That basically means when it's your turn to be the warden and it's your turn to draw cards to then split up for people to draft, in a 3-player game like we're playing, we're going to be drawing 12 cards. Once someone has those 12 cards, oh, there goes Chaz. He's already on fire. Which is totally fine because Chaz is going to be the first player because Chaz won Fool's Gold, which was our previous playthrough. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out on our YouTube page. But he's going to be the first player. So he would take these 12 cards and he's going to flip them over and he's going to choose to then split them into 3 different stacks because there's 3 different players. Now, he has full freedom to do whatever he would like to do with these stacks. He could make 1 stack of 10 cards, 1 stack of 1 card, 1 stack of 1 card. He could make them all even at 4 cards apiece. He can combine and mix things however he wants to. What you're looking at, though, is essentially some cards, like this Seer, who's one of the factions. She's going to provide 1 Seer resource, which is this icon in the upper right here I'm mousing over. Those resources are going to be needed to pay for buildings. So, for example, I'm going to highlight and show you the beacon. The cost of this building is 2 Seer resources plus 1 of any other resource. Throughout the game, we're also going to be getting cogs. The cogs are going to be able to be used as any of the faction resources, but not as a wild resource. And when you launch a building, some of them will have endgame bonuses like this flag, and some of them will have launch bonuses as well. There's also going to be some that are recurring bonuses that are just looking for something to happen as well, and we'll kind of explain those as we go along. Now you'll notice that what Chaz has done is he split them into 3 relatively equal stacks. And he's also added the Warden token to one of these stacks. The Warden token is going to be the first player, and they also will get 1 cog for taking that stack. So that's pretty good little stack right there, because people who take this stack know that with the elite preserver plus the cog they get from the Warden token, they're going to be able to build either one of the dry dock or the temple. So actually Chaz has done a pretty faction kind of split here, which is pretty good.
I'm a giver.
Interesting.
Yeah. I wanted to have stuff happen for the people, so I wanted to kind of expedite getting some cards down on the table.
Nice.
Yeah,
You're a gamer for the people,
Yeah.
by the people.
Exactly. Definitely that, and not the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing.
Nice.
The Warden token also comes with a cog when
That's
you
right.
collect it.
Yep.
So I'm going to throw that on there. So we don't
Yeah, that's a
forget.
good way to remember that that way you don't forget it when you take the Warden tokens. That's really
Yep.
good. Okay, so since Chaz was the Warden and I am to the left of him, it's my turn to pick first. So I get to pick the first one. So being the Warden is very powerful because you get to decide how the split's going to happen. But being the Warden is kind of rough because you're also going to get the last stack left.
It's powerful because you get the choice, but at the same time, it's a pain in the butt because you have to make the choice.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I really like the idea of this blue set, actually, which is pretty good. It's got this biosphere. This is the launch symbol in the lower left-hand corner here. This means when I launch the building the first time, I get what the bonus is, and this says copy the effect of a building in any player's airspace.
Oh, wow.
That's really cool, but the problem is that there's no one else's buildings in an airspace yet. The nice thing about knowing that is that if I take that stack, I'm not the Warden, so I'm not going to be playing first. So I'm going to have to presume and hope that somebody plays something else. If not, I wouldn't have enough to play this beacon because the beacon is going to take 3 resources, 2 factions from the Seers and 1 wild from any other faction, meaning that I would only have 2 Seers. So I think I'm going to go the safe route, and I'm going to take the purple stack, and I will put those into my hand, and I will take the cog and put it on my playmat, and the Warden token and put it there, and then put these guys in my hand. Now, you'll notice in the green set, before anybody else takes anything, let me explain this one real quick. There's an airship. The airship has a little lightning bolt, which is an instant. Whenever you draft a stack that has an instant in it, those are put into your airspace immediately. Essentially, for this version of the game, which is the base retail version of the game, you're only worrying about basically the airships and the pigeons. They don't necessarily do anything to each other when they're played. They just are not something you have to launch from your hand. They don't cost any resources or anything like that. And you'll see in this case, the airships are actually quite positive. They're worth 2 victory points at the end of the game, or each airship in your airspace is worth 3 if you also have an airship bay in play, which is a building you could launch. Ooh. These little diamonds here, this one says there's 4 diamonds on it. That says that's how many of them there are in the deck. So it gives you an idea of how many are available to you. So feel free, Ryan, to choose whatever terrible, crazy, wild choice you would like to pick.
Yeah. Pardon me. I think I am going to go with the blue stack, the faction here, and add
The
these to my
Seer
hand.
faction.
If I can't find them. What's going on here? Here we go. Nope. I'm having technical difficulties getting them into my hand, but I'm taking them. There we go. Got it.
Nice. Very nice.
And I'll grab what's left. And so we're grabbing cards and we're going to play cards, but how does the game end? What's gonna be the end game?
That's a great question. In 14 years from now, no, the game is going. The game is going to end. You'll notice that the playmats here show 6 different slots for 6 different buildings. You also have a space for all of those instants, like the pigeons and the airships we were talking about below here, and then you have a space for cogs and your warden. Now, the playmats are just part of Tabletopia. They are something that Rule and Make produces separately from the game, but the base game does not come with the playmats. Essentially, once you have a player has played their 6th building, that will trigger the end of the game. You will finish the round as normal and play it out. There is a potential, because there are some buildings when you launch them that will have you launch another building, possibly. So you could potentially end up having more than 6 in play. But having the first person to get to 6 doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, because once that round is over, you're then going to count up your victory points from your cards and any endgame bonuses, and that's the person that's going to win. It's good to note that cogs are not worth bonus points at the end of the game, unless you have something that tells you they are, but they are used for tiebreakers, which is important. So
now I drew
the other way the other way you could end the game is the deck could run out, and if the deck runs out before anyone has played their 6th building, then you play the round as normal. So far from my experience, you're either going to get to that 6th building, or you're going to get to the 6th building as the deck is running out. So
all right. Now in the pack that I drew, there is a lightning bolt card. So that goes off immediately when it's drawn. Is that correct?
yes, when it comes into your hand, it goes into your airspace immediately.
Okay, so I'll put that down in my airspace immediately.
Yep. So Chaz is technically winning, so get him, Ryan.
Get him. Oh, man.
He has 2
is the
victory
reigning
points.
Tabletopia champion for the Passport
Yes.
Live Plays.
You were a back-to-back champion, though.
I
So.
was. I went
Yes.
Ports and Simmerg.
Yep.
Yeah, those were good.
All right, so now since I drafted the Warden token, I begin this round of playing and launching cards from my hand, and I'm the first player. So I am going to launch a dry dock, actually, which is going to be worth 3 victory points and is going to cost me 2 of the faction preserver resources. I have a elite preserver, which provides me 2 resources of that, which is really nice, so it matches up. So I would discard that from my hand and pay those 2. This has the flag on it, which says it's an endgame scoring. So right now it's worth 3 points, and I will get +1 victory point for each other seer or preserver building in my airspace, which is pretty nice.
And your airspace,
Pretty okay.
your airspace is the horizontal row below, and your buildings are the 6 spaces in the horizontal row above. Is that correct?
Actually, your airspace is your entire mat.
Oh, your entire
whole
map.
space.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
Ryan, what would you like
Alright.
to launch, if anything?
Well, I feel like not launching a building on a turn is probably not ideal. So I think I'm going to launch that little 2-cost blue one that you passed on. When you were
Nice.
selecting. It lets me duplicate the play effect on a launch effect rather, on another building in someone else's airspace, but there is none that have one,
Sure.
so unfortunately I get no benefit, but I do get a 2-point building.
That is true. That is very true. Chaz, what do you got going on in your airship-filled airspace?
Well, I think I'm going to utilize these little collective workers that we got here that joined our group, which allows us to use one as the faction symbol and the other one as a wild, and put this guy, set up this little building right here.
Nice, the assembly line. So
Yeah.
the assembly line is cool because it's dual purpose. You can launch it like Chaz just did, and it's worth 3 victory points. Or, while it's in your hand, you could use it as a maker faction as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so that worked out pretty nice.
Nothing too shabby about that one. All right, so I am the Warden, so that is the end of this round. And again, you can only launch 1 building per turn unless something breaks that rule and forces you to do something else. But naturally, you can only launch 1. So now I am going to take 12 cards, and it is going to be my turn to put them out here and mess up everything. There we go. What did I do? That came into my hand, and I put it on the table. There we go. All right. So let's flip all these guys over real quick, and we'll take a look at what we're looking at. All right. Ooh, lots of maker symbols. I called that symbol from the assembly line the maker. It's actually the collective. They're the little little robot-looking dudes, which are really cool. This is interesting. So I know Ryan has a lot of blue cards, and that's a double blue right there, which is pretty good. The clock tower is pretty nice. That's worth 8 victory points.
Wow.
And but you have to discard another maker building in your airspace, and you gain 2 cogs. That's pretty good.
So what happens if you don't have another building of that type in your airspace? Can you not play it, or does it just you don't have to discard when you play it?
My understanding is that you cannot play it.
Okay.
Yes, you have to be able
Really?
to fulfill that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, that's good. Let me see here. I am going to, let's put the airship in a different pile, and let's put that one in a pile. So I like Chaz's idea of the faction thing, but I think I'm going to make this a pretty heavy resource side and see what people do with this. Because I'm going to mix things up a lot. Let's do that.
Oh my goodness. He's out of control.
That. I'm out of control. Whoa, doggy. Whoa, doggy. I'm going to do that, and do... Oh, I don't want to do that. I'll do... Oops. Stack it on top of each other. Do that. So we'll do that, and then I'm going to put the Warden token on this one. Ryan, your choice, sir.
All right, let me take a closer look here.
The memorial's pretty cool. The memorial says it's worth 3 of the collective symbols to play in 5 points, but it says reveal your hand and launch the memorial for free if you have 3 or more unique faction cards. So you don't necessarily have to spend them. I mean, you may say to yourself, why would I ever spend my cards if I have 3 green and it costs 3 green? Well, your hand limit is 6. And you may want to ditch cards out of your hand to get down under that limit. The other option, which didn't come up at the end of the last turn, is that at the end of the turn you do have an option of discarding any 3 cards and getting 1 cog as well.
I think I'm going to take this pile on the right.
Are you now? Okay.
Yep. And I am going to give these cards... I'm going to give these cards a home.
He said with ease.
And
all right, interesting.
One of them is a lightning bolt. And hold on, they did not actually go in my hand.
Yeah, don't put them on my playmat there. They go in your hand, buddy.
Yeah, hang on. I think my mouse cut out there or something. There we go.
Hey.
There, and now I'm
Cool.
going to put the airship on my playmat.
So I will get the Warden token and the cog back. And I will get these 3 and put them into my hand. Sweet. Okay. So we're going to do something interesting, I think. I do not have the resources to pay for the buildings in my hand. Since I'm the warden, I'm going to launch a building first. I am, however, going to play a temple. And you may ask yourself, Scott, how are you going to play a temple?
How are you going to play a
Well,
temple?
That's a great question, Chaz. So the temple costs 2 of the preservers and 1 wild. I am going to use my 2 cogs as the preserver tokens, and then I am going to discard my elite seer for the wild. Now that's a little painful because I'm overpaying for this. I'm actually paying 4 resources instead of 3, but I want to have that out. So I'm going to go ahead and discard my cogs and discard my elite seer. And that will be my turn.
Okay, so the cogs are like a weaker wild, where they can only be used as an actual one of the 4 resource symbols. The cogs can't be used as a wild proper. Is that correct?
That is correct. Okay. Yeah, they can be used as a faction symbol, but not as a wild symbol. Yep. And my temple says I get +4 victory points if I have more preserver buildings in my airspace than my opponents, which currently I do.
Oh, we need to change that.
Yeah, we'll fix that right up. But not this turn, because I will not be playing or launching any buildings.
Oh, really? None at all? Okay.
None at all.
All right. Well, over, as the flock of seagulls said, I ran to Chaz.
All right. I don't think I can... Oh, I cannot play a card from my hand.
Interesting.
It is
Okay.
a sad, sad day.
So that's interesting. So that means that I may have actually split things in a way that slowed you guys down, which is kind of fun.
Well, there didn't seem like there was a lot of resources available that turn that matched up with some of the buildings, or maybe it was partially how you split it up as well.
This is true. This is very true. So, and that's one of the things I really like about this game is that it provides you some very interesting decisions to make, both in the split and in what you choose. So. All right, so I'm going to bring these down here. Whoops, I got a little token under there accidentally. Yep. There we go.
And just to confirm, you are doing the split again because you're the warden. So we're going by whoever has that token.
That is correct.
We're not going in clockwise order.
Yeah, it does not always go in clockwise fashion. Whoever has the warden token is the person that does the split. It just so happened that you guys didn't pick the stack with the warden, which worked out in my favor. May or may not have been a plan.
Worked out in my favor because I get to have the first pick of everything.
There you go. There you go.
I like you being the warden.
Yeah, that's true. Like you said earlier, there's some benefits and some disadvantages, right? So, all right, so let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and put the market over here. And to tempt people, I will put a preserver there. Then I'm going to use the other 2 preservers as the beginning of the next piles.
Oh.
Let's go ahead and put a landing pad in each one of those piles. And the foundry is really nice. The foundry, when you launch it, you gain a cog automatically, which is pretty cool. So we'll put the foundry over here. We'll put the gem refinery over here.
So does each of the 4 colors kind of have a specialty then? Because it looks like the brown is really into cogs. And is
Yes. Yes, each faction, so to speak, has their own kind of background, and that's kind of explained in the rule book, and talks a little bit about some of the stuff that goes on with that. But yeah, each one has their own kind of specialty for things.
Nice.
So, let's see here. And then I will put this here, and I will put this here. So, is that the way I want this? Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the way I want that. I'll do that. I'll do 3 stacks of 4, and then I will throw the Warden token onto this one and put a cog on it. There you go. Ryan, it's all you.
All right, let's see what we have. And what do I want to try to play this turn?
And I found that I really like when the Warden just does this all face up, because then players can start to see the cards, and there's not too many different names and things of the cards in the deck, so it becomes very familiar to you pretty quickly, to where once you're playing and you start to see, kind of how we have them laid out here, where you can see, okay, that's a market, that's a faction card, that's a data node. You can start to see really quickly what your decisions are going to be.
Yeah. Okay. You definitely split it a little more difficult for me to make my decision this time.
That's a good choice then. Nice.
I think I am going to go here.
Arg.
Yeah, that's.
So
I tried to make that kind of valuable, kind of not valuable. So
Right.
That's all right.
Yeah, so I'm going to take these.
That's
all
okay,
in my
Chaz, because you're
hand.
going to be able to. You'll be right after him next time.
I
Yeah.
will take this, and I will take this.
Okay, Chaz, all you.
Now, how many diamonds were on that docking bay? If I may?
2.
2.
The docking bay costs 2 wild resources.
But how many diamonds? How many of them are there in the deck?
I believe there's 4.
The docking bay?
Yeah.
You mean the dry dock, the one that I just bought?
No, airship bay. Oh, it wasn't an airship bay?
There should have been a gray card that you acquired that has 2 wild
There it is.
resources.
Oh, yeah, airship bay. There's 2 cards in the deck.
There's like
2 of
2
them in the
airship bays. Oh, boy.
Yeah, there
Yes.
you go.
Yeah, I like that diamond.
And look who has 2 airships.
I know. Well, look who's about to have 3. But
Wow, look at that.
I really like that
Nice.
diamond system, letting us know visually right off the bat how many are in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really well done. So cool. Okay, so Ryan, that means you're the Warden. You get to launch a building first.
Oh, man. Pressure. Under pressure. Which one do I want to do? I think I don't want to do that yet. I think we want to do this. So we're going to spend this preserver and the cog that I got to play the... Ooh, 1 second. So I spent my cog, I spent my preserver, and I'm going to be adding the market to my buildings, which gives me an extra 2 points for each other preserver building in my airspace. So I'm going to try to compete with Scott a little bit.
I was just going to say, we might have some preservation competition going on.
Yeah.
So.
Drop that in the discard pile, and then Chaz, you are good to go.
All right.
Chaz is like, I'm not building any buildings. I'm just flying around on my balloons. That's all I'm doing.
Leave me alone. I'm not hurting anyone. Well, I'm going to continue the trend of not being a threat to anyone by not playing a card and instead having to discard down to 6 cards in my hand. So
Nice.
Yeah, that's the turn of champions right there.
Okay. I am going to launch a foundry, and I am going to pay 1. Whoops, hang on. I'm going to pay 1 of the maker resource and 1 of any other resource. So I'm going to use a preserver, which could come back to haunt me. So we'll see how that works. But in launching it, I do get a cog, which is very nice. So I will do that and put those back and get my 1 little lonely cog and be very happy. So now that Ryan is the new Warden, he is going to go ahead and do his split.
Now, do
But
we?
first...
Yes.
Oh, yes, but first I have 8 cards in my hand.
No, you do.
So,
Actually, it
I
shows
have
me you have
to,
7. Do you have 8?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I've got 8.
Huh,
don't know
that's
why
weird.
it's
It
7 on
shows
your
me
end.
7. Maybe it's because you had lagged out earlier, so we'll have
Yeah,
to
it
see
might
how
be
that works.
a
So
connection weirdness.
yeah, go ahead and tell everybody what you got to do, though.
So, because I have 8 cards, we have a maximum hand size of 6. I have 2 options. Is I can discard 3 to get a cog, or if I don't want to give up 3 cards, I can just go down to my 6 and lose 2 cards, but I don't get any benefit for doing that. So, that said, I think I'm going to discard 3 cards and get the cog. So we're going to get rid of this one, and this one. So we have a few different things. I guess you guys didn't quite see what they were.
That's okay.
That's what I discarded.
Oh, wow. 2 buildings.
2 buildings.
Got rid of a data node and got rid of a droid factory. Ooh.
Yep.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Oh, data
So there you
node.
go. So now I get a cog for going down to 5 cards ultimately.
That is
and then
correct.
I am the start of the next round.
And technically, at this point, Chaz, if you wanted to discard cards to get a cog, you could still do that. You
That's
don't
true,
have to be
yes.
above 6 cards to do that.
True.
That's right.
True.
So I don't know if you want to do that. I know I don't want to do that.
I'm gonna hold out. I'm keeping what I have for a while.
Yeah,
it depends.
3 cards to
I
get a
would,
cog
I would
is
think
pretty,
Chaz is
pretty
building
rough.
up to something big with all the turns he's taken off. So
He's got to have something to protect his airship. So
that's right. All right, so I'm going to take 12 cards off the top. Going to flip them, and let's see what we're doing.
I love the artwork in this too.
Yes.
Each building looks very unique and very bright, and even though they're all different factions, they all kind of have their own shimmer and gleam to it and everything. And even the pigeons are cute, even for their annoyance.
Yeah, the art is fantastic, and they also, like the blue cards have kind of, each one has a color scheme. You got the pink and purple, the blues, the gold and green for the.
Yeah.
It's nice.
All right,
Another airship
so
there for you, Chaz. That's
only
the 4th one.
Resource card.
Yeah, one resource
One
card.
resource. Whole bunch of buildings and only one resource card.
Kind of glad I kept things in my hand.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. This is going to be tricky.
Check out that steam engine. While steam engines in your airspace, ignore the wild cost when launching buildings.
Oh ho ho!
Yeah, that's
is
valuable.
Pretty intense. I want to put this right over here for a moment. Not saying I want that. I'm just putting it aside.
This is going to be an
Away
interesting round
from
because
you guys.
the jump gate's pretty awesome too. Did you read what the jump gate
Let's
does?
see here.
What's that one
Opponent
do?
must choose a building in their airspace and swap it with jump gate.
Ooh.
So you get a theoretically, not exactly random, but you get something not of your choosing.
Right.
Interesting. And there's 2 jump gates, so it could happen again.
Yes. Yes. There's Stargate and Stargate Atlantis.
Yes. Oh, both
I'm gonna
observatories.
put a pigeon over here. Let's start a 3rd pile with the
We
jump
do have
gate.
both observatories. Yeah, that's a good point. This is going to be an interesting hand. These observatories give you 2 extra victory points for every seer building in your opponent's airspace.
Somebody already. Oh, there's 2 in play. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, you double those up in one pile, and you could really rack up some points.
You could.
Yeah, I'm gonna tentatively do that.
And it's interesting because you don't necessarily want to split those into 2 different piles, because if you got one and I got one, Chaz, and Ryan's got the seer buildings, then that benefits both of us, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah, that's really
do you
interesting.
play with the devil you know or the devil you don't?
Yes.
So this here. Let's put a foundry with gem refinery. +2 for each of your remaining cogs. So if you build up a bunch of cogs, you get points. That's pretty cool.
Yes, that's one of the few that will give you points for cogs at the end of the game. Yep. And the gems kind of look like candy.
Data node. Did somebody make a data node already? Or am I thinking of something else?
We had one. I think you discarded one, maybe? Or it might have been in a previous
Yeah,
draft.
data node was
There's
one of
one
the
still
3 you
in my hand.
discarded.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
See,
I knew it was
I
familiar.
watched Star Trek, so I say data. So
Right. Okay. Let's put the airship over here, and this here, and this here.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna center these all a little bit more.
Yeah, that works much better.
Here we go.
So if anyone's watching this for the first time and hasn't seen any of our playthroughs, the software we're using is called Tabletopia. You can find it at tabletopia.com. It's basically a virtual workspace or play space for the tabletop game. It doesn't have any AI. It does have some basic things like snapping and things like that. But if Ryan cheats, there's nothing to stop him from cheating. So if he drew 14 cards, it's just us paying attention that he drew 14 cards. So that's why he's kind of fiddling around with everything here a little bit. So
Make sure it's all cleanly laid out so everyone can see it. And there you go. That's
It
gonna be my
is.
3 piles.
All right.
Yeah, it looks really good.
My first pick then?
You are first pick, yes.
I think I'm going to take this one.
No!
Oh, okay. I made the right choice. Which has airship, which I will place down in my location. Where is my...
Killing me, man. You're killing me. Killing me, Smalls. Okay. I am going to take this set with Steam Engine. We'll see how that works out.
Behind my monitor screen, I'd just like to mention that I'm currently fist pumping the air that I have read the table correctly.
Did you?
And you all took the piles I thought you would take, and I got
Nice.
the pile that I wanted.
That feels good, doesn't it? It's like,
Sounds
yeah, I
right.
knew how to. I split correctly.
Fell into his trap.
Funny.
All right, so I immediately have to play a pigeon because I
Ooh.
got that.
Pigeons are bad.
Pigeons are bad.
They're negative 2 points. Unless you get a
have
rookery.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which I don't currently have access to, but
Chaz literally has every airship in the deck. It's pretty amazing.
all right. So I get another cog. I'm still the warden, which
Yep.
is not my favorite thing, but you make do.
That's okay. Your fist pumping said you were happy, so.
I'm happy that I got some of these cards that I wanted, but I'm still in kind of a tight spot on being able to play any of them. I'm
Oh,
looking to
really?
see
Okay.
Here. I might have to spend both of my cogs this turn, which I don't love.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I don't think I want that one yet. Yeah, we're going to spend both of these cogs,
Okay.
and we're going to play a dry dock.
There you go.
Ooh, what's that?
Plus 1 for each other blue or purple in my airspace.
Oh,
That's
you,
pretty nice.
you and your synergies going on there. All right. I'm going to...
Says the guy with a fleet of airships.
What can I say? I'm full of hot air.
There you go.
All right. I'm going to play Nito Mechanical Guy. And also, I'm going to play Young Ryu as a wild.
Young Ryu.
And that's going to allow me to put down this foundry, which gets me a cog.
Yes, it does. Very
Yay,
nice.
I'll put that.
I like the foundries. Foundries are cool.
Yes. And I think
Okay, I'm going to do something pretty crazy and pretty weird here. So I am going to play the Steam Engine. This costs 2 of the Maker faction and 1 of anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my cog as one of the Maker factions, and then my Elite Maker for the second Maker faction and the Wild symbol. So that is going to hurt a little bit in terms of resources in hand, but I really like the idea of not having to worry about wilds anymore and reducing the cost of the final buildings that I play.
Yep.
So
Yeah, for sure.
that's pretty good.
All right, so we are down to the discard point again, which
Yeah,
I
and
will
we're
do
almost
once
like
again.
halfway through the game, so it's like
Yeah.
it moves really, really fast, which is awesome.
All right, so I'm going to discard 1 card to take myself down to 6. I did not want
That's
to go
fair.
down 3 cards to get a cog because I like all the rest of my cards. Oh, excuse me, I discarded the wrong one though. Pardon me while I keep that.
That's okay.
No, that's actually fine. I'm gonna go with that.
And Chaz, are you
Okay.
going to discard any cards?
no,
or are
I'm,
you
I'm
gonna...
keeping my hand.
I am
Okay.
actually going to. Do I want to discard or not? I think I have 2 cards that are kind of dead, and I think I could ditch a third to get a cog. So I think I will. I'm going to discard the Cloud Network. I'm going to discard the Memorial because I'm nowhere near that, and I'm going to discard the launching pad. So a landing pad.
Launching pad.
Whoa! I just picked up my Steam Engine by accident. There we go. And we'll put that in the discard pile. Landing pad, sorry, not launching
Yeah.
pad. So.
That's the one that pairs with the beacon that I just discarded.
Oh well, I'm so
I didn't
sorry.
have that, and so I was like, I don't think I'm gonna ever get those extra points. So
Well, they're sitting in the discard pile for you now. If you can do something about it. So.
sure. Okay, we
Cool.
ready for the next deal?
We're ready. Do it. Fire it up.
All right.
It's one of the things that I love about drafting games is once you become more familiar with them and familiar with the symbology and things like that, it can really start to move. And surprisingly, even with the I split you choose mechanic, this is a really, really fun two-player game too, because you're playing off the synergies of the buildings and going back and forth very, very quickly. And the warden token becomes, I think, a little more valuable in a two-player game, even where you're like, you know, I want to go, but I don't want to go, but I want them to go. Look what I see.
Oh, is that the airship bay?
This airship bay. Yeah, look at that.
Well, isn't that something? Now, does the person...
I gotta really make it difficult for Chaz to want to take that.
You do.
The person on the warden's left picks first, correct?
That's
right.
Correct.
You're going to get first pick.
Right.
So he may make a single pile of just the airship bay.
Let's not go nuts. Let's not give him too many ideas.
Well, you know, that seems really clever, but at the same time, then Scott is getting some massive, massive piles.
It's not as cut.
I'm gonna do that.
You never know. I might take
that.
the airship bay.
I'm not gonna do that.
Like you said before, it's reading what your opponents are going to do. Another part of it is trying to remember like what they drew, right? What did they draft? Did they draft a lot of resources earlier? Did they not draft a lot of resources? Did they draft a lot of one type of resource? And I started off looking like I was going to have a preserver model in my airspace, and then I immediately switched over to the makers, and that's helped me so far. But we'll have to see how it works out. So
I don't think I can quite afford that.
Unity Hall is amazing. Plus 6 points if you have some variety if you have all 4 factions.
Ooh,
wow.
Neat. 9 point total. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep.
The Wall. I've been known to play card games with walls in them before. Usually made of ice, though. That's a different thing. The wall is in your airspace.
The wall's pretty nice, though.
Two buildings.
It's pretty good.
Man, the resource starvation is real, though. Having enough to play 2 buildings is a whole other question.
That is true. It's not like you get the second one for free.
Right. So we're going to put that down here.
All right. The wall's going to block off the airship bay.
We're going to
build a wall, and the collective's going to pay for it. No.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I just have no words.
Dear Passport Game Studios, I have a complaint about your recent video.
Sure, it's going to happen. It's okay.
You must have at least 2 other.
It's just a voice impersonation. It was not ideology.
Does anyone have? How's everyone doing with the droid faction? What are they called?
The green is the collective.
The collective. That's right.
Yes.
Interesting. So Chaz has 1. 5 points for free if you have at least 2 other collective buildings.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's pretty huge. Man, this is a tough split.
This is a tough split. Yeah, this is very tricky.
All right, we're gonna do this, and hold on, what is this? Copy the effect.
Look at all those fat resources in that stack.
I know, 3 resources over here, which is probably needing to change. I probably need to take one of these out. I just don't want to put any resources over here for Chaz to take his airship bay.
Well, it's funny, because if he takes the airship bay, he's really just hate drafting it, because he's not going to play it. He might. It's 3 points, and it's a building, but
doesn't
it's
it
not
increase the value of these guys?
It could,
absolutely
yes. It'll increase it by 1, so he'll get actually 7 points out of that, because he'll increase his airships by 1.
That's a pretty big buy.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
So, all right, I think I am going to throw one thing over there. I'm going to put this here with. Let's see.
You're going to put that together? Wow, that's nice. I would definitely make the decision hard.
And then
I can already see people in certain game groups also like bribing the warden. Like, dude, put this in this stack. I'll get up and get your next drink. Everything's okay.
The steam engine. This is one you already have, right?
That is one I already have.
That is one you already have. The droid factory. We're going to put that here. These last 2, I'm not sure where I want to send them.
That's tough.
I'm going to send this one here. Whoops.
Ooh. That's fair.
And this one.
The hard part, too, is Chaz has 6 cards in his hands. They can all be resources. So.
Right. Okay.
That's a pretty healthy stack. That was a tough
Boy,
decision
howdy.
too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
What is it, Chaz? What do you say?
You're right. It is a 7-point differential with this airship bay. So I better
I don't
take
think
it.
I needed to put the extra couple cards in there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, I am going to take the blue and purple stack.
all right, that's fine. I'll get
That
a whole
means
bunch of
you're
cogs.
the warden again. Yep. Mhm.
I will be the warden. I get another cog, and I will take all of this into my hand.
Interesting. All right, so Ryan, you get to play first because you are the perpetual warden apparently now.
That's right. Okay, and I did. Oh, I didn't put that in this one. Dang it. Okay. What do we play here?
Did you incorrectly split?
I wouldn't say I incorrectly split. Maybe just slightly. I probably should have put one of the cards in Chaz's stack into the one that I ended up with. But that's okay. So I'm going to play... Oh man, this is going to get really narrow. Okay. We're going to launch the wall, or the Unity Hall, rather.
Unity Hall.
We're going to launch the Unity Hall. So here are the 2
Yep.
little robot resources, and then
The
as
collective.
a wild, I will spend a 3rd collective resource.
Sure, that's totally fair. That's not bad too, because you already have a blue seer and a pink preserver. So all you need to do is get a maker building. So that's pretty big.
How many points
Which
is that?
I have access to, so
no.
it becomes 9
Yeah.
if I get the other building in play.
That's
so.
pretty
So
good.
we need to totally starve you out if we can.
I'm gonna be shocked if Chaz doesn't play what I think he's gonna play. But go ahead, Chaz.
Oh my. Okay. I think you're going to be shocked because I'm playing this as a wild, and this as a collective resource to put down.
Oh,
This little guy right here, assembly line.
another assembly line. All
Yeah.
right, very nice. That's okay. Sometimes you win by getting nothing but 3s, right?
Maybe, but probably not.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, that makes that a little less valuable then. But I do like this one. So I am going to play a dojo into my airspace. And I'm going to pay the 1 preserver and disregard the wild cost because of my steam engine.
Yep.
It says disregard the wild cost when launching buildings. And this one is at the end of the game, I get to copy the effect of another building in any player's airspace.
That is sweet.
It's pretty sweet. Yes, it is.
I was
So
gonna steal my market points.
maybe we'll see. So
Yeah.
you never know. So
I know.
Yep. Okay, so does anybody want to discard cards? I know it looks like Ryan and Chaz are both above the point thresholds.
I need to discard cards. Yeah. So I'm gonna go down by.
And we're getting dangerously close to the end of the game. If I launch a building next turn, that will trigger the end of the game.
Oh, Criminy, you have 1 slot. That's right. You have 1 slot. I was looking at my own slots,
buildings.
and I forgot to look at yours.
Yeah. Well, but at least in your case, you have a lot of airships, right? I mean, that right now. That's just 8 points by itself. Let alone if you were to play your bay, that's 12 points.
Oh,
so,
boy.
While you're behind on buildings, you're still doing okay with points, right?
Yeah, but I was hoping I had 2 more turns coming instead of potentially just 1. We'll see.
Might happen, might
Yeah,
not.
we'll
I don't
see.
know.
We don't know if he's got the resources to pay for stuff, and it'll depend on how I split. So we'll see.
Yep.
This
All
is
right, so
true.
I'm going to discard 3 cards, take myself down to 4 from 7 in order to get a cog.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I am going to discard 6 and get 2 cogs.
What? Wow! Holy
Look at
moly!
this guy. All right.
Man, that's amazing.
Wow.
Oh, I think I know why you want 2 turns now. You wanted 1 turn to play that freebie 5-pointer, right?
Ta-da!
Ta-da! That's right. Yeah, see, remembering what people take is a good thing. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we
You
go.
ready?
This may be the last split. Will it? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, look at that. We got all sorts of stuff.
Launch a blue building without paying its cost. Oh my goodness.
That's insanity. That's amazing.
I just
'cause it
discarded my
happens
last
when you
blue
launch
building.
it.
Another market. Can't let Scott get that market. Another temple. That's also probably not great.
Yeah, I like this. This is a good setup.
So we're gonna do this.
Immediately stick the guy with the pigeon.
Yeah, man. Let's see here. This and this.
No, we're going back to faction splits.
Yeah, a little bit here.
Oh my goodness. There's some good options here on the table.
Did you read the Nexus?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Nexus is pretty nice. The Nexus says it's only worth 1 point, and there's only one in the whole game. But it gets you +6 if you have 3 other buildings from the same faction in your airspace. Which is pretty sweet.
Which Scott is currently accomplishing, and I am currently not.
Chaz would accomplish it with that Nexus, actually.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's
That's
right.
true. Takes a lot of resources, though.
It does take a lot, especially when you just discarded a whole bunch.
True.
Who knows what you could have discarded? I guess actually the discard pile knows what you could have discarded. Look at that. That is a collective split. This is interesting. It's a little painful though because I'm going to pick second, so it's really about what Chaz is going to go after.
Oh, yeah. Now, what was I saying about wanting 2 more turns? I take that back. I want 3.
That's 3, yeah, that's right. One more turn.
So, yeah, if you don't get buildings down at the beginning and the others do, you really do hurt yourself late in the game.
Yeah, that's why I played that first turn in that building because I just felt like not putting one out put you at a bit of a disadvantage. So.
It could be. I mean, I still think Chaz did well with the airships, obviously, and we'll have to see. It's interesting, though, because I'm almost kind of in control of the game here. I could pan it out another turn if I want. I could end it right now.
Yeah,
And
we
a
don't
lot
know
of-
what resources you have.
Right. So it's a big question to Chaz of does he play that airship bay now, or does he risk holding off, right? Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
That's a tough decision.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, stick it with the
All
pigeon.
right.
do.
I think, all right, we're going to put it there.
You gonna put it there? All right.
All right, final answer.
Yep.
I think I'm going to take this one.
Boy, he chose that quickly. He chose that quickly. Oh man. Okay. Oh, do I want this? I have a temple in play already. I don't have a market, and I can copy your market if I want to, which is okay. But a market in my space would give me... Well, I'd still have more preserver buildings than anybody else, but I could double up on the markets because I could put a market in my space and a market in your space. Not my space, the homepage. Yeah, I think I'm going to take this stack right here. And there we go, which means I have to put a pigeon in my airspace, which is okay. Okie dokie, so I am the warden, and I get to play first. So, I do not have enough for the temple, actually. So I am going to play Sky Command. I'm going to play the Seer faction and the Cog as my 2 Seer factions, and ignore the wild cost due to my Steam engine. and it says that I may launch a seer building without paying its cost.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to get a 7th building, which is going to be the observatory.
Rats.
Yep. That worked out very well, actually. So the observatory is going to give me +2 for every seer building in opponent's airspace, which really right now is only the one that Ryan has. So.
Quick, Ryan, burn down your biosphere.
And I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay.
That was a good play, Scott.
I'm deciding between a few buildings here now, so I wasn't 100% I was going to get this stack that I wanted, and I did, but not 100%. So remind me again, so you've now finished 6 buildings or more in this case.
That is correct.
Is this it, or do we do one more round of drafting after this?
Yes, so we're going to complete the current round as we normally would, and then we're going to move to scoring. So you're going to get to launch, Chaz is going to get to launch, and then that's it. Yeah, so even though there's cards left in the deck, this is going to be the end of it. Yep.
Right.
And then we're going to add up the VP values of our buildings in our airspace. We're going to add victory points from score events. The winner is going to be the person with the most victory points, and in the case of a tie, the person with the most launched buildings is the winner. And in the case of a tie with that, then the person with the most cogs is the winner.
Whew.
So right now, having 7 buildings for me is pretty cool. I'm quite happy with that.
Temple.
And had I only played a green card, I could have copied the effect of your Unity wall, which would have been nice.
Yeah, the Unity wall is kind of my big question mark right now.
That actually works out the same for me, because the Unity wall would have been 6 points, but copying your temple will be 6 points for me as well.
Well, I'm in this interesting spot where I can play a rookery.
Can you?
I would take your pigeon, which becomes a point.
Yeah.
Oh, each opponent may. You don't have to give me the pigeon, so you could leave yourself with the negative points, I guess.
Sure.
And so it would be worth 4 or 5 points to me. Actually, plus I would give up the -2, so that's actually even more, but then I'm not getting the extra 6 points off of my Unity wall that I could also build.
Sure, that's a good point.
So I think, but
Oh,
it
no.
also is a 3rd purple card, which means you will no longer get your +4 bonus off of your temple.
That's right, because I have 3 purples. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Decisions.
No kidding.
And I like that. Like I've long
Yeah.
followed the path of Sid Meier, who once said that a game should be a series of interesting decisions.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
How about if your game is a series of regrettable mistakes?
Well, that's the way I normally play, but yeah, so that's okay.
Chaz, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that the crown might finally be passing from our little ownership.
I think so.
This might finally be Scott's moment in the sun. All right, I'm gonna try with the rookery. I think it might net more points by the end. So we're
That is
spending
fair.
1 cog and 1 resource card as a wild to play the rookery, which will make my pigeon worth 1 point. And Scott, since you have a pigeon, you have the option of giving up your -2 to give me 1.
Yeah. Let me think about this. 9, 10, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to give you my pigeon.
All right.
You may have said pigeon. It's amazing that Chaz didn't get a single pigeon. He's got all those airships for him to hang out in.
Are you
All right,
finished?
Chaz, what do you got? It's
All
your
right.
last turn. I'm pretty sure we know what you're doing.
I'm not sure because I'm not going to play the airship. I actually took
Really?
I took that specifically to keep you guys from getting it because it was a
Stealing your issues.
7-point swing. Yeah. So I don't have the resources to play it anyway. I was going to play the Nexus, but then reading it, speaking of a series of errors, is +6 if you have 3 other buildings from the same faction. So it doesn't count itself.
It does not.
So I think I can salvage this a little bit. Let me find which one. That one's 5. I'm sorry. Okay. This one, though, the data node. Yes, data node. I'm going to play 1 green card. I guess I'm discarding that one. And 1 cog for its cost. And that one does look like it counts itself. So that one nets out to 6 points. So that's. I think I'm doing best with that one.
That's good. That's good. Okay. So if you want to, at the end of the game now, you can discard for cogs because those would obviously be worth potential tie breaks. It's not going to matter, I think, in this case because I have the 7 buildings. So I'm just going to take my hand and ditch them all 4 cards and get 1 cog.
And I have 6 that I can discard, which I will just lay out right there.
There you go.
And take 2 cogs, I guess, again, just in case the... Oops.
Excuse me. So for my dojo, I think I'm going to copy... Had I thought in advance, I would have potentially kept my pigeon and dojo copied the rookery. That would have been funny.
Yeah, maybe that would have been better.
Yeah. Although I don't think that would have worked because the pigeons say that I have to have the rookery. And I wouldn't have the rookery. I'd be copying it. So
the rookery isn't an endgame scoring.
That is true. That is true.
So yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that one. Yeah.
Yep. So I will copy the effect of your market, which will give me +2 for each. It says, oops, there we go. +2 for each other preserver building in my airspace. So I will do. Let's see. So let's add it all up here. Okay. So I'm the warden, so I'll let my score drop onto the table here first. I have, with my copying of the market ability of Ryan's card from my dojo, plus the observatory where I get a couple extra points from Ryan's blue over there, I have a total of 25.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Ryan?
I have a total of 22.
Okay, that calculation worked right, but from Chaz's reaction, I think he's going to win.
Well, I have my data node is 6, and the others are 3 for a total of 30. And then each of these airships is 2 for another 8, which would make 38.
How do you get 30 out of that?
Whoa, hold on.
Hold on.
You have 3, 6, 9, 12 just from the natural cards.
I'm sorry.
Building.
I was multiplying 6 times 5, not 3 times 5. I doubled my score in one easy step. Points. Yes, we'll edit this out. Yes, I have 15 plus 4 for plus 8 for 23. Wait, wow. Now, starting over, 15 plus 8 means, yes, 23. So I'm sorry.
23?
23.
So double check that and make sure you're right. So we got 3, 6, 9, 12 for your buildings, +1 for each green in your building, which is 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Plus 8 is 23.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why. I got the data node being 6. I started multiplying 6 times 5.
That's okay. So, oh my goodness. I finally won a game.
So Scott.
What were the final scores again?
Wild. Yay.
Cue all the special effects on the video. And
explosion, fireworks, yes. Oh, awesome. So that is Skyward. I hope that everyone enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about Skyward, you can go to our homepage at passportgamestudios.com. We have information on our games page. You can also go to ruleandmake.com, who is our publishing partner that makes this in Australia, who are awesome. Again, this is going to be available at Gen Con, and then it's going to be released about 2 weeks after on September 1st. For anyone that may be doing the math in their head, Gen Con's a little later this year. It's not at the beginning of August. It's in the middle of August. August 17th to August 20th, I think, are the dates. And if you're going, we'd love to see you. Come by and check our booth out. In the meantime, Ryan, why don't you tell everybody where we're going to be before then? We have a couple of places to stop at.
We sure do. We're going to be at the Origins Game Fair here in about a month in June. We will be in Columbus, Ohio for that. It is on the 17th, question mark? Kind of middle of June. I don't remember the exact dates off the top of my head, but we'll be there. Followed by Gen Con. Scott, you're making an appearance at the ACD Games Day for any retailers that are out there. If you're going to be in the Wisconsin area, definitely
Yep.
recommend checking out the ACD Games Day event.
And I will have a copy of this with me at ACD, and then we'll also bring it to Origins as well, of course, to play there with people. So if you're going to go to Origins, you can get to play this in person. I'm also going to go to the Dice Tower Con and BGG Spring, so we have quite a bit on the plate. So
There you go.
excellent. Chaz, what did you think of your first game of Skyward, since you said this is your first time?
I liked it. It's one of those games that left me wanting, to see more cards. What else can come up? What other combos? So that's always a nice sign when a game leaves you with that
Yeah.
feeling.
Nice. And Ryan, you seem to struggle on the splits a lot with those hard decisions. You enjoyed that?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do really enjoy the I split you choose system. It definitely. I'm the person that will sit there and agonize over it longer than most, though. So as was evident by the dead air while we were sitting here and just staring at these cards.
That was pretty tight, though, at the end. I mean, 25, 23, 22 is not a very big swing, right? So
Right.
any one thing could have pushed it. I think had Chaz maybe got that air bay out and boosted up his things, he might have had a shot to tie me or push even a point ahead possibly. So it was pretty tight. But
And I think you would have had a bigger lead if I hadn't have turned off your temple. And
yep.
yeah, because that was another 4 points for you, right?
Yeah. So it would have been nice. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, that's Skyward. Go check it out online. And until we see you next time, you can go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/Passport Game Studios. You can see more playthroughs like this. And don't forget our podcast as well, which can be found on pretty much every area where you can find podcasts online. Thanks so much for watching. Until we see you next time, play more games.
Thanks.
Bye.